And welcome to this edition of the Primetime News in the English language on Canal International. And we begin with top stories. In the Lokbesu neighborhood in Douala, homes have been swallowed by a massive ravine, with others on the brink of collapse. The lack of proper water drainage has led to the creation of a large chasm that devours residences. Despite numerous solidarity actions by neighboring residents, the situation remains bad. In Buddha, in the Tous division of the West region, the chief of Balachi, His Royal Majesty King Fantanka, has requested the ostracization of a native for committing incestuous acts on his daughter and many other young girls in the village. We'll tell you more in this edition of Newscast. And the 2024 Ngondo Festival in the Warri division is set to embrace the theme Nja Njong Uwanele, translating the solidarity in celebration of Sawa heritage and communication bounds. Those are major stories. Titles right ahead. Good evening once and welcome to this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal International. In the aftermath of demolition on July 12, 2024 in Douala's New Bell neighborhood, inhabitants are now seeking refuge, left homeless and exposed to the rain. As night falls, they endure the harsh weather, sleeping outdoors amidst uncertainty. Visiting these neighborhoods, some residents still find it difficult to grapple with the situation. More on the story with our reporter, Saleh Sharifa.
This is where 15 people find refuge. Every evening, they find solace around their shared fire during this rainy season. Like them, residents of the New Bell neighborhood in Douala 2 subdivision are grappling with the aftermath of a sudden demolition that has left them homeless. The demolition, which occurred on July 12, 2024, has forced families out of their homes, with some resorting to sleeping outside, braving the harsh weather without shelter. Roger, a pastor, was among those affected. He saw his church demolished despite possessing documents proving his ownership of the land. He laments as he gathers what remains salvageable from the rubble. His concern now turns to the upcoming back-to-school period and how he will support his children in such uncertain times.
Le chef de l'État de nous aider parce que on est à l'entrée de la rentrée scolaire.
The situation has also left many landlords homeless, prompting urgent calls for government intervention to address the plight of those displaced. Families now scattered and without adequate housing are calling for immediate assistance to secure temporary shelter and basic necessities.
And we take you to the Lokbesu neighborhood in Douala, where homes are being swallowed by a massive ravine, with others on the brink of collapse. The lack of proper water drainage has led to the creation of a large chasm that devours residences. Despite numerous solidarity actions by neighboring residents, the situation remains bad. More in the following story. Eric Mvondo looks down at the ravine helplessly as he watches his house collapse day by day. We live here in here. It rains, we are up and sleep. Part of his gate has already been claimed by the ravine, and the threat looms high. Sleeping at night when it rains is risky for him and his family. Part of my fence collapsed.
Ça fait à peine 20 ans.
For 20 years, we have lived the problem. Logbesu is a sandy area. When we discover small holes, we quickly place bags filled with sand, but water carries it away. And again, we don't have gutters. At the urge of these principalities, all homes in the Logbesu area around the Sheferi neighborhoods are teetering on the brink of collapse. The ever-expanding ravine has already consumed 3 houses. Potential future victims live in constant fear. When it rains heavily, there's no way for water to circulate because all of the water runs down into the ravine. We fought hard with other neighbors, but no solutions. Despite their concerted efforts to curb the water erosion on the sandy soil, the attempts have been unsuccessful.
Je ne sais même pas le pourquoi vraiment, jusqu'à nos jours, le gouvernement ne prend pas le temps de voir ce qui se passe.
We don't know why government has remained silent. The ravine is growing by the day. They want people to die before they react.
Qui est toujours mort d'homme pour que le gouvernement se lève pour pouvoir vraiment arranger les problèmes qu'il faut.
Il faut bien travailler, on passe ça comme un pont. Parce que dans l'avenir,
government could do something by constructing a bridge here that links PK15.
Depuis que nous parlons, l'État aussi, tu sais, l'État réagit, mais pas si tôt.
Worried and left with no alternative places to live, the residents are forced to stay in their vulnerable homes.
Je vous assure que d'ici peut-être la fin de la saison, ce ravin sera à ce niveau.
Before the end of the rainy season, this ravine will grow larger. As they await a response from the government, the houses gradually crumble under the relentless pressure of the waters draining into the ravine. The ravine continues to wreak havoc on Douala, leaving residents in a constant state of desperation. In Buda, Bamboo Tous division of the West region of Cameroon, His Royal Majesty Chief of Balachi has requested the ostracization of a native for committing incestuous acts on his daughter and many other young girls in that village. The concerns, whose name I get, we got as Nzwemo Lorang, a trader in Yaoundé, denied to show up before the summon. More on that story with our student journalist on internship, Cynthia.
According to the decision of the custodian of Balachi Chief, Zomene Lorang is excluded to take part in all village gatherings, greetings, visits, and any form of social gatherings with persons of this locality. He is accused of committing incestuous acts. We are scandalized by this sacrilegious act of this son, a child that was caught in Yaoundé by his in-law in a sexual act with his daughter. Investigations carried out reveal that the suspect was not at its first crime. Several young girls of his family are reported to have been victimized. This incest case was not limited to his first child. We realize it is a practice he carried out on all his daughters. You can understand the gravity. His Royal Majesty King Fatonga Fosob says the ostracization order of June 10, 2024 is to preserve the moral standard of his people. We found that it was better to ostracize him from the population that could listen to us. Tell them not to frequent him. Time for him to understand the gravity and to stay away from committing such sacrilegious acts in the society. Summoned twice before the Balachi Traditional Council, the concerned failed to show up on every summons. The chief has gathered the population to educate them and bring back peace in his village, while hoping that the measures taken against Zomene Loran will serve as a lesson to others.
The surge in hate speech is becoming more and more disturbing in Cameroon, and despite legal provisions to contain hate speech, Cameroonians are seeming ignorant of its devastating consequences. In the following report, Kejan Henry Atembe comes back to the consequences and legal provisions. His story.
The quest for power is deeply entrenched in Cameroon, with different ethnic groups battling to assume the helm. From a very prudent sociological observation, Cameroon has become politically and socio-culturally polarized for close to 2 decades as a result of power conquest. This growing trend has inadvertently led to a rise in hate language against one or another ethnic group.
This speech is about power differences. It's about individuals, communities, and tribes lording over others with power and presenting themselves as more elitist and prestigious than other communities. It is also when individuals project themselves to be more important than others, and they start finding way of reducing the human dignity of others by way of speech and by way of actions. And these are usually triggered by prejudices, biases, and even stereotyping, where you find a lot of communities just coming up with particular narrative to downgrade other communities. Sometimes you find individuals coming up with specific biased narrative to downgrade others and thereby causing them harm.
Societies are known to have lost cohesion due to hate language. Communities have risen against communities, ethnic groups against ethnic groups, leading to devastating consequences.
Speech are many, but I should say one of them is the disintegration of the society and even the fragmentations of relationship. It also causes, violence and even conflict in the community, where hate speech works towards setting back the peace and community development.
With a surge in hate speech, the state of Cameroon has become sensitive on what that can cause the country, as this has grown with the advent of social media breakthrough on the palms of a majority of the people. That is why the warning shot keeps resonating as the government continuously brandishes relevant provisions of the law that punishes hate speech against the people or incites them to violence due to the tribes or ethnic groups. Beyond just power conquest, many people are still wondering what can be the reasons beyond what Cameroonians know behind the rising hate language.
And verbal aggression is gaining a ground in the motorcycle or motorbike sector. It is uncommon to find drivers exchanging insults among themselves or with their passengers, a situation that threatens civility in the society. More with our reporter, Saleh Sherifa.
Aboard a commercial bike in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala, it is not easy for passengers and commuters to leave verbal aggressions from bike riders. It is very serious. If you have a brother who by nature is calm, once he becomes a commercial bike rider, he starts being insolent.
Comme dans chaque corps de métier, il y a des mototaximans responsables.
There are responsible commercial bike riders. Unfortunately, we have some that are not educated.
Comme dans tout corps de métier.
Many commercial bike riders acknowledge the fact that there is a lot of incivility in their sector, but claim it is a defense mechanism that is characteristic in their sector. Insult is like an identity for us in this job. It is often so because for us to be respected, we have to be insolent.
Tout un chacun qui se place devant nous.
We are not impolite. It is the mentality of some person standing before us. Sometimes you confront a passing car, it blocks circulation, but it's the first to be rude. That pushes us to react. However, we are not aggressive.
Pas agressif.
Psychosociologist Maurice Somo explains that this growing phenomenon stems from the violent environment in which most of them operate, like in Douala.
Pour certains, c'est qu'en réalité, ils exercent une profession ou un métier.
For some, it is because they are practicing a profession they never wished or loved to. They are somehow frustrated.
Crée donc ce qu'on appelle le mécontentement.
Some motorcyclists, however, understand the need to be less impulsive and have respect of everyone. They have joined training sessions to educate them on citizenship initiated by the Douala Council.
La mairie de la ville.
Concerning professionalism, the city council has accompanied close to 25,000 commercial bike riders, educated them on traffic rules and citizenship. Ensuring responsibility and civility in the commercial bike sector is one of the missions of the Douala City Council. With its identification program launched earlier July 11, the council works towards tracking down impolite motorcyclists.
And that was a report by our student journalist on internship, Lato Cynthia. And the Cameroon Bar Association has strongly condemned the decision by the Fundi Senior Divisional Officer planning to expel individuals from the capital city if they attack public institutions in a community made public this July 19. The president of the Cameroon Bar Association, Barrister Bar Eric, states that the decision is in total violation of the Constitution, which gives Cameroonians the right to live freely everywhere within the national territory. The outing of the bar equally reiterates is against the 1990 Liberty law, which guarantees freedom of expression in Cameroon. The bar urges the civil administrator to reverse such decision, which gives Cameroon a bad image before the international community. The legal minds also pledge to embark on legal actions if need be to give Cameroonians the liberal and democratic rights they deserve. We'll certainly come back to that in our subsequent editions of Newscast. And as a part of the electricity transmission network and sector reform project to set up high voltage substations or substations will receive energy supplied by the Nashtigo Dam. The Minister of Water and Energy recently visited Misole in the southern zone, which will serve as the entry point for Douala's energy boosting the Ngodi Bakoko hub. More in the following story. This is Misole in Tibamba at the construction site of the high voltage substation intended to evacuate energy from the Nashigo hydroelectric dam. The Minister of Water and Energy is checking on the progress of work. According to him, the site will handle the energy from Nashigo to meet the industrial demand in the area and by extension relieve the Ngodi Bakoko hub. Primary challenge is adhering to the project timeline, he reiterated.
Recently we have the first turbine from Natigal hydropower dam in the system is like 60 megawatt. And to make sure that this energy can be connected to the Southern Interconnection Network, the minister decided to come on the field and to make this technical visit to make sure that the transmission line, the substation will be ready before, let's say, the end of the year.
The project is expected to span 15 months. Despite the National power plants being operational, there are still concerns about persistent power outages. The minister has responded to these concerns.
Aujourd'hui, Douala a un besoin qui est exprimé d'au moins 250 MW.
He insisted 3 evacuation substations have been inspected. After the Yom substation, Gaston Elundo Isomba will visit the Beyond substation Friday, July 19.
Right now we have only one turbine in Atigal. Recently we have the second one. And before the 7th turbine, we should make sure that all those transmission line and substation are ready to make sure that we can have the energy in the entire system.
This report highlights the government's efforts to improve the energy infrastructure and the ongoing challenges in meeting the demand. And we now talk culture. The 2024 Ngundo Festival is set to embrace the theme Nele, translating to solidarity in celebration of Sawa heritage and community bonds. More with our reporter Sarah Sharif, who provides insights into that story.
The Ngundo Festival of 2024 has taken a poignant theme, Jajongwanele, encapsulating the essence of solidarity among the Sawa people. Assembled on July 18, 2024, Sawa chiefs convened to deliberate and embrace this year's theme, emphasizing the importance of unity and mutual support.
We seem to forget that concept of solidarity, and our ancestors are asking us to come back to that value in order to make difficulties less heavy for each one of us.
Janjongwanele, as defined by the Sawa community, underscores the interconnectedness and shared responsibilities among individuals. It signifies a commitment to helping one another navigate life's challenges and reducing social tensions through inclusivity and cooperation. For the Sawa people, this medium of solidarity is not merely a cultural ideal, but a practical necessity for fostering harmony and resilience within their communities.
We have to come back to that value, that traditional value, to be solidar one another.
The festival serves as a platform to honor ancestral wisdom and reinforce the values that have sustained Sawa societies of generations. The message resonating from Ngondo 2024 is clear: to return to the foundational values that once made Sawa societies thriving communities of mutual support and shared trust.
Time newscast in the English language on Canal the International. Thanks so much for watching. But coming up next is a debrief with Mathieu Fangwa. So me taking a rendezvous by this time around on Monday. Good night.